Hello and welcome everyone, and we have discussed that there are 5 types of damping. The first two are very important, that is viscous damping and column damping, and the other 3 will also be discussed at the end with a brief introduction, that is structural damping, active damping and passive damping. So let us begin with the viscous damping, and this is the diagram of viscous damping. Okay, and viscous damping is when the system is made to vibrate in a surrounding viscous medium. See, every medium have got some viscosity, and that is under the control of highly viscous fluid. The damping is called viscous damping. Viscosity is what? It is a property of any fluid by virtue of which it offers resistance to the motion of one layer over the adjacent layer. Okay, so one layer of fluid is moving over the another layer, so the adjacent layer will offer some resistance, and that is because of viscosity in the fluid. So this type of damping is achieved by means of a device called hydraulic dashpot. So the device which is responsible for damping will now be called as dashpot in our course. Wherever we will use the device dashpot, means there is some damping in it. Okay, and dashpot have also got a representation, just like we represent a spring. Spring, how do we represent? Just like as we used to do resistance in the electrical circuit, a spring is also represented like this. So dashpot has also got some representation, just like in electrical circuit we used to represent capacitor. So daspots are represented in the similar fashion, and it is represented like this. Okay, this is a dashpot. So this is in the model. Okay, this is how we represent in the model, but in real life this model look like this. Okay, and you can see the main components of a viscous damper or dashpot. Okay, dashpot are the viscous dampers. That means there is damping by the viscosity of the fluid. Okay, and this will come under the nature of viscous damping. So there are basically 3 components. Okay, and what are those 3 components in viscous damping? First one is a container, and that container is the cylindrical container. Here cylindrical container, you are seeing this is a cylinder. Okay, and in this container there is a device. Okay, now this container, cylindrical container, is fixed or attached to some support, let's say some support. Okay, this is attached to some support, but in this cylinder we have also filled a fluid of having very high viscosity. So this fluid is here very viscous. Okay, and in this cylinder with filled with viscous fluid we have put a piston. So the third component, first one was the cylinder, second one was the viscous fluid, and third one is the piston. Okay, and this piston is attached to a vibrating system. Okay, so this is the drawing of dashpot here, and the piston have got some velocity, let's say v downwards. This is in downwards direction, and there is some force being applied here also downwards. So this is how piston dashpot looks like. It has 3 components: cylinder, piston and viscous fluid. So what is the magnitude of the force, damping force in the viscous damping? The force, damping force, which resists the vibration. So now we will calculate that force, viscous force, with the help of formula which you must have studied in fluid mechanics, that in a fluid, if we have to calculate a force, net force being applied on a plate, let's say this is a plate of sectional area A, is flowing over a viscous fluid of height h. Okay, and the velocity is here dx by dt. So this plate will face some resistance. Okay, and this resistance will be proportional This resistance, resisting force F will be proportional to what? Sectional area of the plate, and force will be also proportional to rate of change of velocity with time. Okay, so x dot by t. Okay, so this is how the force is proportional here, and we can write this magnitude of force F is equal to mu times area into velocity by time. Okay, so here we have used a constant mu, and this mu is the coefficient of viscosity of fluid. Okay, so mu is a very common coefficient value which you can find for any fluid. Okay, so as you can see, now we can write this force in another form, like F is equal to c times x dot. X dot is the velocity. Okay, x dot is the velocity and x double dot is the acceleration. This is already explained to you. So F is equal to cx dot. Okay, now this is damping force. F is what? Damping force. So I represent F as Fd. Fd is the damping force, and damping force is proportional to the velocity. We can say that damping force is proportional to velocity, and it is equal to c times velocity, where c is equal to mu a by t. Okay, so this is constant, and this constant we need not to worry about how we calculate it. This will be provided when we are discussing structural dynamics. So this value, particularly c value, will be provided. C is the damping coefficient. C is what? C is a constant here, and c is said to be damping coefficient. Okay, remember this, c is damping coefficient. This is a coefficient which depends on the type of fluid and area of the plate, like that, those dimensions, and damping coefficient is given already, and this is constant for the situation there. And it has got some unit. What will be the unit of damping coefficient C? Damping coefficient की unit क्या होगी हम निकाल सकते हैं. Unit होगी force by velocity के term में, because from this formula if you see Fd is equal to c x dot, यहाँ से आप unit निकाल सकते हैं. Unit of C will be what? Equal to Newton second per meter. Okay, क्योंकि force by velocity होगी. ठीक है, C की value. So this is the damping coefficient in the viscous damping. And in viscous damping what happens? It's a method of converting mechanical vibrational energy. Mechanical vibrational energy कहने का मतलब है kinetic energy and potential energy into heat energy, convert करके heat energy में बदल देता है ये viscous damping. And in this a piston is attached to the vibrating body, as I have showed you the picture already, and it is arranged, the piston is arranged to move through a viscous liquid in a cylinder that is, and that cylinder is attached to the support. Okay, support may be fixed. All right, so this is how diagram of a dashpot looks like. Okay, and I hope you must have seen this. What is this? What is this? This is a shock absorber. Okay, so this stretches and compresses. Okay, this spring stretches and compresses, and by that piston moves into the viscous fluid. And this is the detailed diagram. You can see upper mount which is attached to the piston or the vibrating system, and this is the piston rod which is going downward like this, and this is the voil, and then there is pressure tube, everything is shown here, and this is the base valve, and this is the lower mount of the cylinder. Okay, and the compression cycle and extension cycle are shown. So this some mechanical details and everything mechanism we need not to worry. We just have to remember the formula of damping force. Fd is equal to c times velocity. Okay, c x dot, and c is the damping coefficient. So the example of shock absorber is very perfect, that all of us must have seen in the bikes or even in the cars. Okay, these are there, these are suspensions, these are also called as suspensions in the car. Okay, so this is how car suspensions work. Okay, and why viscous damping is very, very important? This is very, very important because here as we can see that force is linearly varying with the velocity of the system. So here it is a linear variation here. In the viscous damping is a linear variation, force is having a linear variation with velocity. So what happens if the system is vibrating with high velocity, at that value damping force will be very high, which will resist the velocity, which will resist the motion, because Fd is applied in the opposite direction of the motion of vibration. So that will resist the body's motion, and slowly the body will reduce its velocity, and consequently the damping force will also reduce proportionately. So this is a linear variation. जब बॉडी फास्ट होगी तो ज़्यादा फोर्स लग रहा होगा, जब बॉडी कॉन्सिक्वेंटली उस फोर्स के कारण बॉडी धीरे होती जाएगी, और जैसे जैसे धीरे होती जाएगी फोर्स का भी मैग्नीट्यूड कमता जाएगा, क्योंकि फोर्स इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू वेलोसिटी. तो ये एक लीनियर वेरिएशन के कारण ना इट इज़ लार्जली यूज्ड इन द सिस्टम मॉडलिंग. ओके, सो दिस इज़ वेरी लार्जली यूज्ड, एंड वी कैन से एट द एंड what happens in free damped vibration, the body returns to the equilibrium or the mean position. Okay, so this is how viscous damping works. The next type of damping is column damping. Okay, and the name of this type of damping is named after the same person, same inventor, same scientist, Charles Augustin de Coulomb. Why I have written his name? Because he is a person who have worked in electrical field as well as mechanical field. You can see earlier scientists were so versatile genius. They were real pure thinkers. They were not biased like nowadays which we see, and so pure research they were doing that the same person invented the charge, invented in something in electrical field, and the same person has done some research in the mechanical field. So we read that the unit of charge is coulomb, and in this structural dynamics also this type of damping is named after the same scientist, Coulomb damping. Okay, so this Coulomb damping is a type of constant mechanical damping. I have highlighted this word constant because this is very, very important. Here damping remains constant, it do not vary linearly with the velocity of the body. So this is a type of constant mechanical damping in which energy is absorbed through what? Sliding friction. Okay, sliding friction is the main cause of energy dissipation, and we know that the friction developed by the relative motion of the two surfaces that slides against each other is a source of energy dissipation, and this frictional force is given as F is frictional force is calculated by the help of normal forces. Okay, normal forces. So F is equal to mu times normal reaction which is being applied by the ground. Okay, so F is mu times n. Now this frictional force is of two types. One is static friction and another is what? Kinetic friction. Okay, so both are little different in terms of their coefficient. Now static friction is mu s times normal force, and kinetic friction is equal to mu k times normal force. Here mu s and mu k are the static and kinetic coefficient of friction. Okay, this again coefficient of friction is a constant for the two surfaces. Okay, so we know that mu s is slightly higher than mu k. Okay, mu s value is slightly higher than mu k, and when the body is stationary, okay, body is at rest, then we can say the body is at rest. Then we apply this static friction, and when the body is in motion, then we apply kinetic friction. So this is the basic mechanism. Okay, behind this calculation of friction, and you can see when the mass block was not vibrating, it is being applied by normal force here N. So the coefficient of friction here will be used as mu s, and mu s multiplied by N will be equal to Fs. But when the mass will start vibrating, then we have to use the value of mu k here, okay, mu k, and the value of friction force will also become then Fk, okay, and Fk is equal to mu times N. We have simply omitted k value because most of the time in vibration we use Fk value, okay, because body is in motion. So simply we write mu times N. Here mu is kinetic coefficient of friction. So normal force is very easy to calculate. Normal force is generally equal to weight of the body, and we can write weight as mg also. This is simple in a case in which the block is kept simply on the ground. So we can see when the mass block is going towards this positive x direction, you can see when the mass block is moving in x direction, then this friction force is opposing it by being applied in the negative x direction, and when the mass is returning in the negative x direction, then this frictional force is being applied on the positive x direction. So we can say in column damping, energy is dissipated constantly because of what? Sliding friction. And sliding friction, this value of sliding friction is a constant. How? Because it is independent of everything, surface area and velocity or the displacement or the position or anything. It is independent of all those parameters. It remains constant. This is the main difference between column damping and viscous damping. See, it simply depends upon the coefficient of friction and the weight of the body, okay. So we can say that this is a non-linear variation here. This is a non-linear system. Column damping is a non-linear system. I will highlight this also, that how this is a non-linear system. Now try to understand. It simply sees body is in motion, then it applies kinetic friction of constant magnitude mu times N, okay, and whether whatever the body is having very high velocity or low velocity, the constant value of friction force remains always same, and it always opposes the direction of motion of the system, okay. So you can understand the non-linear vibration. Why? Because at the high velocity also it is having the same value of friction, at low velocity also it is having same value of friction. So in that way the body will fastly decay its amplitude, okay. And this is how column damping, in column damping there is non-linear vibration being shown here, okay. And this is how due to damping, column damping, that every time amplitude is being reduced by this much magnitude, 4 mu n by k, okay, 4 mu n by k after having a one time period, okay. In one time period amplitude is reduced by this much magnitude, and this is obtained by the simply analyzing the equation of motion, okay. So we will not discuss much on the column damping. We will try to focus ourselves much more on the viscous damping. Why? Because viscous damping is a linear system, whereas column damping is a bit critical because it's non-linear variation, non-linear system. So basically linear systems are easy to analyze and they are in our syllabus. So we will be focusing ourselves on the viscous damping only. So let's get a brief differences or a comparison between viscous damping and column damping. So let's start. In case of viscous damping, the ratio of two successive amplitudes was constant, okay, and envelopes of maxims of displacement time curve was exponential curves. Whereas in case of column damping, the differences between any two successive amplitude is constant and envelope of maxims of displacement time curve was straight line. So this explanation, although it may not be very clear to you, but when we will see the diagrams there, viscous damping diagram we will discuss in the next video, because this is basically in our course, but what is being said here will be clear when we analyze those graphs more clearly. Okay, so you can leave this also, no problem. Next difference is, in viscous damping the system once disturbed from mean equilibrium position, then finally it comes to rest in equilibrium position only, and theoretically it takes infinite times. Okay, no problem. Whereas in column damping the body may finally come to rest, okay, because it is damping in equilibrium or in displaced position depending upon the initial amplitude and amount of friction present. See, friction is constant there, and the body may come to rest at any position, either at equilibrium position or at the displaced position. It is no guarantee there that body will ultimately come to the mean position, no. But उसमें क्या होता है, विस्कस डैम्पिंग में धीरे धीरे बॉडी ना स्लोली मीन पोजीशन पे आ ही जाती है. So this is very easy to understand by intuition also. Third difference, damping force is proportional to velocity, okay, but columns damping force is independent of velocity. In fact, it do not depends on either surface area, acceleration, displacement, position, nothing. It just depends upon the coefficient of friction and weight. Now, next difference, in viscous damping, the damping system mass oscillates about the same mean position, okay, and in column damping, mean position about which mass oscillates, it keeps on varying with each half cycle. That's why this is a non-linear system. Okay, mean position itself is varying. We can't find the exact mean position at each time, but this is very simple. It's a linear system. Simple harmonic motion, you can apply simple equations of motion and we can do the analysis easily. Okay, now viscous damping is applied for both liquids and solids, whereas column damping cannot be applied to the liquids, because there is no normal force there as such. Okay, anything will sink or float in the liquid, so it is only applied for the solids. Now liquid, in viscous damping, liquid absorbs energy, so energy dissipation takes place. This is how energy is dissipated in viscous damping, whereas in column damping energy is dissipated because of friction between two solid surfaces. So these are the list of differences between the two types of damping, but the similarity is always there. Both are damping only, and they cause dissipation of energy and body ultimately comes to the rest. Okay, now let us come to the last three types of damping, and let's get a brief introduction to all three types of damping. And structural damping, बहुत ही वैल्यू इसकी कम होती है because it is due to internal molecular friction of the material. अब आप समझ सकते हैं कितनी मैग्नीट्यूड होगी. इट्स मैग्नीट्यूड इज वेरी स्मॉल एज कंपेयर टू ऑल द टाइप्स ऑफ डैम्पिंग. And why we include this type of damping in discussion? Because we have seen the stress strain diagram is forming a hysteresis loop. What is hysteresis loop? The stress strain diagram is not linear. Then what happen? They form a hysteresis loop like this. So this is one loop. In the second loop, if you draw, it will go inside and it will have a reduced proportionality and it will again. So this is kind of loop is forming. There are multiple loops of hysteresis, and the area of which represents, now the area of loops represents energy dissipated due to molecular friction per cycle per unit time. The area between two loops, okay, area between two loops will represent the dissipation of energy due to molecular friction per cycle per unit volume. Next type of damping is active damping, and the wonderful thing of active damping is that here there is no decrease in amplitude. No decrease in amplitude. That's why it is said as active damping. It's also called as negative damping. Negative damping मतलब समझते हैं, damping क्या करती है? एम्पलीट्यूड को कम करती है. पर नेगेटिव डैम्पिंग क्या होती है? नेगेटिव डैम्पिंग एम्पलीट्यूड को बढ़ाती है. अब आप समझ सकते हैं. इट रेफर्स टू एनर्जी डिसिपेशन बाय एक्सटर्नल मीन्स such as controlled actuators etc. ये एक डिवाइस का नाम है, controlled actuators. Okay, so this is some external device which we install in the system. In this type of damping, the amplitude tends to increase, which leads to instability. Okay, when amplitude will keep on increasing, it will lead to instability only. So they are also called as negative damping. तो कभी कभी किसी किसी सिस्टम में एक्टिव डैम्पिंग भी होनी शुरू हो जाती है. एंड द एग्जाम्पल्स आर ऑफ सस्पेंशन ब्रिजेस, ट्रांसमिशन लाइन वायर्स एक्सेट्रा. So these are devices which are installed in them. How? And in active damping we try to use those another types of damping which is passive damping, and it refers to energy dissipation within the structure by again external devices which are damping devices such as isolators. So we will be studying these isolators which are called base isolators in the upcoming units, unit 4 or unit 5, by structural joints and support or by structural members internal element. तो स्ट्रक्चर के जॉइंट्स के कारण और सपोर्ट्स के कारण या फिर स्ट्रक्चरल के कोई स्ट्रक्चरल मेंबर के किसी इंटरनल एलिमेंट के कारण अगर कुछ ऐसी डैम्पिंग हो रही है जिसके कारण स्ट्रक्चर की एनर्जी डिसिपेट हो रही है, सो दैट विल कम अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ पैसिव डैम्पिंग. एंड इन पैसिव डैम्पिंग द वन टाइप ऑफ डैम्पिंग इज बेस आइसोलेटर्स. ओके, so we need not to study much more details about these 3 types of damping, but of course you must remember all the 5 types of damping. The first 2 are very important: viscous damping and column damping. And the next is the structural damping, which is due to the molecular friction. Then is the active and passive damping. Okay, active damping में बढ़ती है, passive damping में हम external लगा करके, उसे आइसोलेटर्स लगा करके या कुछ स्ट्रक्चरल के मेंबर्स एलिमेंट इंटरनल एलिमेंट के कारण ही एनर्जी को डिसिपेट करने का प्रयास करते हैं. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ डैम्पिंग डिपेंडिंग ऑन द नेचर ऑफ डैम्पिंग इन द डायनेमिक सिस्टम्स. सो वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग more on the equations of motions in case of viscous damping only in the upcoming videos, and that would be also very nice. So we will meet there only. Till that, stay tuned and stay safe. Thank you.